Hi, everyone. I was hoping to show you an experiment today. I wanted to pair two liquids, two chemicals. When combined, they actually create an explosion. It's a handmade rocket. But they asked me not to blow the house up today, so instead I'm going to show you an incompatible pairing of a different kind. So I have here some banana wrapped in trout. Okay, so it's not going to work for me, this very unlikely combination. Is there anyone here that would like to? Maybe? No? No, okay. Thought not. No surprises there. So you've all eaten enough meals in your life to figure out your food pairing preferences. Fish and banana is obviously not one of them. If you're in your mid-20s, you've eaten an average of 27,000 meals to date, and for every decade after that, you can add an additional 11,000 meals. That's a lot of practice and experience in figuring out which foods taste good together. And the fact of the matter is that the pairing of anything successfully requires a lot of practice and a lot of experience. Guidelines exist for the pairing of most things, but it boils down to trial and error. And the better we understand the individual elements or flavors first, the better chance we have of combining it well with another thing. The same is true of people. With time and awareness, we become familiar with ourselves. We become familiar with our temperaments, our ambitions, our characters, our talents, our shortcomings. We establish our unique flavor. And it's only then that we can really understand who, when combined with us, will make a quality combination. The good news is that there is no right or wrong recipe in people pairing. So there is no good or bad partner, only a better or worse match. People will either draw out the sweetness in you, or they are going to draw out the bitterness in you. Conclusions can only be drawn after experimentation. And in people pairing, that is called dating. So dating is love's laboratory. It is the research and development process for figuring out your best match. So you're not meant to get it right first, second, third, or 25th time. That would be like assuming that you can become a master chemist after taking a few science lessons. So before I talk more about people pairing, I'd like to take you back in time to my childhood. It's the weekend, and my dad is drinking his breakfast tea. Now it's time for beer. As the first six-pack is consumed, his cutting sarcasm begins. More beer. Now it's lunchtime. Toxicity and aggression is on the increase. Time for brandy. As the brandy in the bottle is decreased, the monster within him is unleashed, and it could be directed at anyone. Fast forward 15 years. This is me, the crazy fishwife, that emerged every single time my partner wanted a drink. As an adult, I developed a severe dislike and fear for partners who drank alcohol. I assumed that if I unleashed my monster first, I could stop my partner from wanting a drink. And then I had my first aha. If we ignited the worst in each other, and I needed to change him so badly that we we couldn't work together. I needed to change him. We were incompatible. It was never going to work. I didn't need therapy. I needed a better partner. Instead of trying to force a square peg into a round hole, I needed to let go of that relationship and find someone who brought out the best in me, someone who shared the same lifestyle choice as me. The more I understood myself and my flavor, the better I became at discerning a suitable mate. I had one boyfriend who really ridiculed me for my passion for learning. And I remember I had to sneak around behind his back to attend a weekend workshop. How ridiculous is that? Have you ever felt like that? Isn't it awful when someone is trying to change you? How often have you tried to change someone? And then I had my next aha. If the relationship didn't give me the freedom to be myself, then I was always going to have to be someone else to make the relationship work. We were trapped. When you need to make yourself change to make the relationship work, compatibility is low. And when compatibility is low, even if you really love your partner, it's time to move on. Love is not enough. Love does not equal compatibility. Love is unconditional, but relationships are not. You can love someone who brings out the best in you, and you can also love someone who brings out the worst in you. I know this from a client of mine who loves her partner so unconditionally that regardless of how many times her husband hits her, she decides to stay. She says, I just need to figure out exactly who he needs me to be, and then the aggression will stop. So let me ask you this. Do you think that by her keeping herself really small, that that's a sustainable solution? I have another client, and his wife tells him how repulsive he is. And she won't let him touch her until he's thin enough or attractive enough. So let me ask you this. Is any relationship worth sacrificing your self-respect or compromising your individuality and your dignity? The answers to these questions have been my lifelong quest. For 20 years, I have been dedicated to trying to understand intrapersonal and interpersonal relationships. So my life was my laboratory. And my failed relationships actually springboarded me into my career, which has been born from my wounds. So this is what I believe. I believe that the quality of the relationship you have with yourself determines the quality of the relationship that you have with other people. That your relationships with others are simply a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. First, you need to become someone for whom a healthy relationship is possible. You cannot go to the reflection in the mirror and make it smile. You have to smile first. So these are my top tips for combining yourself well with another person. The first is that there's no such thing as a failed relationship. If it didn't bring you what you want, it's taught you what you don't want, what you can and what you can't tolerate. You need to learn from the pairings that end. Like we learned that fish and banana is really not a likely or lovely combination. Number 2 is that a quality relationship begins with a quality you. If you are not a team player, then don't be part of a team. You need to get real and honest with yourself about your own shortcomings. A rotten anything does not pair well with another thing. Number 3 is know your flavor. Ta-da! So compatibility is proving to be the most significant ingredient for the survival of long-term love. You best understand your one half of the pair well first before you attempt to combine it with another thing. So, for example, if you are really stinky cheese and that's your flavor, then there's going to be a lot less compatible options for you out there. So number 4 is go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated. If you are sneaking around, if you have to become someone else to make the relationship work, if you have to compromise yourself and give up your self-respect, then you are not in a quality pair. It's time to let it go. Just because 2 things can be together doesn't mean that they should. So what I want to end with is to say this to you, is that people pairing is a science and an art that can produce magic when the 2 well-matched parts come together and become greater than the sum of the whole. That you need to pair yourself with someone who challenges, inspires, and encourages you to become the best version of yourself. That is why we are here, and that is the purpose of relationship. So please go out there and find the spaghetti to your bolognese, and if you're panting, go find the no-carb pasta. Thank you.